I'm Abby and I'm a teacher and I would have had something to eat, but I'm a bit tired and I want to film this video for you guys. Hi everyone, welcome to Abby Online Teach. In today's video, I'm going to be going through how to speak fast English. Now there are lots of reasons why English speakers sound fast, so this is going to be a series, and in today's video I'm just going to be covering one aspect. So the main reasons that English speakers sound really fast is because they use contractions, merged words, and also reductions. So in today's video, I'm going to be focusing on contractions. So to speak fast English, you need to use contractions. And contractions is where we take two words and we merge them together. And when we write contractions, we use an apostrophe to show where the omitted letters, so the ones that we've taken out, would have been. For example, the words I am can be contracted to I'm. So the A is now missing, and that is where we mark the apostrophe. So I am can become I'm. We often use contractions for the words not, would, have, is, and will. I will run through a few examples for each of these words that we often use in contractions. And do listen carefully because there will be a quiz at the end of this video. So the first word that we often contract is not. So if we were saying can not, lots of native speakers would often say can't. So these words have been contracted and the apostrophe marks where the O should be in not. So can't. So instead of saying I cannot do this, most native speakers would say I can't do this. I can't do this. Can't. Another example for not would be with do. Do not would become don't. I do not like this. So most native speakers will say, I don't like this. I don't like this. Don't. The next word that is often contracted is would. For example, I would is often contracted to I'd. So in this one, there are so many letters that have been taken away and the apostrophe is instead of the letters W-O-U-L. So we just say I'd. For I would, we would say I'd. So instead of saying I would like to go to the park, we'd say I'd like to go to the park. I'd like to go to the park. I'd. Another example for would be you and would, where we'd contract this to you'd. You'd. So instead of saying you would love it, we'd often just say you'd love it. You'd love it. You'd. And the third word that is often contracted is have. So with the words I have, we'd contract this to I've. I've. So instead of saying I have finished, we'd often say I finished. I finished. I've. Another example would be with you and have. We'd often just say you've. You've. So instead of saying you have done this, we'd just say you've done this. You've done this. You've. And the fourth word that we often contract is. So for example, with the words he and is, we'd contract this to he's. He's. So instead of saying he is a boy, you could just say he's a boy. He's a boy. He's. Another example is it is. So we'd contract the words it is to its. Its. Instead of saying it is amazing, we'd often say it's amazing. It's amazing. It's. And the fifth word that we often contract is will. For example, with the words I and will, we'd contract this to I'll. I'll. So instead of saying I will get this, we just say I'll get this. I'll get this. I'll. Another example is we and will. So we'd contract this to will. Will. So instead of saying we will leave in a minute, people would just say we'll leave in a minute. We'll leave in a minute. Will. So those are some of the most common words that are contracted when speaking English. So I hope you are listening carefully because it is now time for our quiz. So in today's quiz, I want to see if you can guess the contraction that I use in a sentence. So for example, if I was to say, I'm a girl, you'd have to answer the contraction was I am. I'm. So you have 5 questions to answer. Are you ready? Question number 1. What words have been contracted in the sentence, don't be late? Don't be late. And you've got 5 seconds to think about it, starting from now. And the answer was do not. Do not for don't. Question number 2. What words have been contracted in the sentence, we'll go to the shops? We'll go to the shops. And you have 5 seconds to think about it, starting from now. And the answer was we will. We will. Will. Question number 3. What words have been contracted in the sentence, I've got to go now? I've got to go now. And you've got 5 seconds to think about it, starting from now. And the answer was I have. I have. I've. Question number 4. What words have been contracted in this sentence, they'd be perfect? They'd be perfect. And you've got 5 seconds to think about it, starting from now. Okay, so the answer was they would. They would. They'd. And question number 5. What words have been contracted in the sentence, who's going to score 5? Who's going to score 5? And you've got 5 seconds to think about it, starting from now. Okay, so the answer was who is. Who is. Whose. So that's the end of our quiz, and now it is time for you to tally up your score. If you have got 3 or less, I would recommend going back and rewatching this video and having another attempt. And if you have scored 4 or 5, well done. I think you have understood today's video and you can now start using contractions to make sure you are speaking fast English. I'd love to hear how you got on down below in the comments, so do let me know your score and also give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe and turn that notification bell on so you don't miss out on my next video. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye!